my name is Nia and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I don't ever make TBRs because I never follow them. The way that I pick books is based on how I'm feeling. So I can create a to be read list all I want, but I usually don't ever stick to it. But I wanted to create a TBR today because in September is an amazing month. It's also my birthday month, so hey. But also September 15th to October 15th is National Hispanic Heritage Month, and Yo Soy Latina, and I wanted to create a TBR for the Latinx-athon that will be happening from the September 15th to September 24th. It's just a week, but I wanted to amp it up a little bit. I wanted to do something a little bit different because I'm a slow reader. I can't read, like, I love the idea of readathons, but I can't do it because I just am not a fast reader. I'll maybe finish one, if that. So I wanted to take the idea of the Latinx-athon, create a TBR, but then apply it for the entire month of September. So if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about the Latinx-athon, or reading or hearing about the books that I am hoping to read in September, keep on watching. So the Latinx-athon has different proses to help guide your reading, and the first one is voices, and it's to read a book by a Black or Indigenous Latinx author. So I chose two for this one, and the first one is Love War Stories, and this one has been on my radar for such a long time and I just haven't read it. I honestly don't know why, but from what I've heard, it's about only maybe less than 200 pages. It sounds so interesting because I find that I am a practitioner. I am in the mental health field, and for me, I love learning about different cultures, and I am Puerto Rican, so I know a lot about Puerto Rican culture, but then also I find it interesting how domestic violence plays a role in and how it manifests in different cultures and how it's normalized. And so I'm hoping that that's what this book is about. It kind of seems that way. So I'm hoping that it's just as good as it sounds, and that I can learn something, and that I can really understand a little bit more about how domestic violence can play a role in Latinx communities. I feel like I already kind of know a lot, but I'm always hoping to learn a little bit more. I love to grow, I love to learn, so I'm hoping that this book fulfills that for me. The second book in the voices category is called Sana Sana, and it is a collection of poetry. It's written by a Black and Mexican author, poet, and she writes all about Black girlhood, what it's like growing up in these cultural identities, and it's a series of poems. So I've heard wonderful things, that her poems are beautiful and amazing. I think she's also from Texas too, which is really cool. And I love poetry. I just love the art form and the expression that can be expressed through poetry, so I'm really interested to see. Plus this cover is gorgeous. Look how stunning she is. I can't wait. It sounds really exciting. The second category is Latinidad, and it is written, the prose is read a book by an intersectional Latinx author. So the book that I chose is Cemetery Boys. That one just came out. It follows Yeidel, and he is a trans boy, and he comes from a family of brujos, and he wants to be a brujo so badly. He wants to be just like the other boys in his family, and he wants to be seen by his culture as a brujo. And as of right now in this book, it's that they're not accepting him for being trans, and they won't let him do the rite of passage as a boy. They'll let him do it as a girl so he can be a bruja, which from what the book was saying is that the women do more of the healing, and the men do more of the I guess talking to spirits and things like that. So Yehdel, he doesn't want to be a bruja, he wants to be a brujo, he wants to be like just the other boys, and his one cousin goes, his one cousin is dead, and he can feel it in his bones that his cousin is dead. His entire family goes out looking for him and trying to find his body so that he can rest with the spirits and come back for Dia de los Muertos. And so, you know, he and his best friend Maritza, they go and they go to the cemetery and try to look for his cousin, and they find a little like artifact, and he actually like brings the spirit back, and it turns out that it's not Marcus, it's actually Julian, and Julian is the resident bad boy at his school. And so it goes into the story about how Yehdel, he raised a spirit, so he is technically like a brujo, but is trying to get accepted by his family because they don't know that he raised this spirit, and he actually raised the wrong spirit. They thought it was his cousin, and it turns out it's Julian, the resident bad boy. So they're trying to get him to be okay and get him to be like be able to like rest peacefully while also trying to find their cousin. So it sounds like a really exciting story and such an interesting concept. I've never read a fantasy book kind of based on Santeria before, so this is really exciting for me. Because it just really, it sets up for a really great YA fantasy, and the fact that it features a trans Latinx boy is something that I am living for. I love, I know that the author is also trans, so this is just making me really excited. And like so far I'm like a few chapters in. I love it. It's just so sweet, and I love Yehdel and Maritza. Like they sound like such a cool pair, and like it's just this is what I love to see. I love Latinx fantasy. I love it so much, and I just want to read all of them. So, second book in the Latinidad section that I chose to read this month is History is All You Left Me. This book is about a boy, his name's Griffin, and he was with his ex-boyfriend for a few years, and then they broke up, and then the boyfriend went to college, and he ended up dying. And so it's all about, you know, Griffith like dealing with the grief of his ex-partner, where he still secretly hoped that they would reunite and that they would get back together, and then now the realities of that that's not going to happen, and then dealing with the loss of a loved one, even if it is a little bit more of a complicated relationship, and how to grieve someone that you've loved but also was hurt by as well. So this book sounds really interesting. I've actually read a few of his other works, which I was obsessed with. Excited to read this book because it also deals with grief and loss, but also, you know, a gay relationship and Latinx characters. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. If it's anything like his other books, it's going to be beautiful and probably make me cry. So I'm excited. The next section is Roots. So read a translated book or a book featuring more than one language. So the first one that I chose was The Price of Paradise. This is a book that is originally written in Spanish and has been translated into English, and it is a historical fiction book. So it takes place in, I believe, the 40s. So 1940s, this man from Spain, he leaves Spain and goes to Cuba, and he has no money, nothing, knows nothing about Cuba except what they've been saying in Spain. So he comes to Cuba, and then he ends up you know, meeting people that help him get on his feet. He gets a job at a department store, and then he falls in love with the mobster's wife, hoping that it gives me those kind of vibes where it's like forbidden love, like that they're torn apart from each other but they love each other, but like, you know, they're trying to get back to each other, and there's drama, and there's like you know, the parents don't approve, and like everyone doesn't approve. Like, I don't know why I don't like love stories, but I love those. So I'm hoping that this story gives me those vibes, because that's really what I'm looking for, and I think it's going to be amazing. I've heard great things about it. The second book in the root section is Furia, or Furia. But this book is about takes place in Argentina, and it uses both English and Spanish, so it features two languages, but it's in Argentina, and she it follows this girl Camila, and she is a futbolista, except her parents don't want her to play football or soccer. Like they think that it's not something that a girl should do. So she has dreams about being a futbolista, being a professional footballer like her brother, but her parents don't approve. So she hides her love for football. She hides, her dreams of being a football player, and then her ex-boyfriend comes back into town, and it kind of, everything starts blowing up in her face, which is where the story kind of takes place. So I'm really excited because I love soccer, I love football. Like I grew up playing soccer my entire life, so it's something that I can really relate to. So I'm really hoping that I love this book. I actually got this book for free from the publisher, just in exchange for an honest review. So I will be doing a readathon, well, not readathon, I will be doing like a reading vlog about reading Furia, just because I'm really excited to read it. So again, just anything that I say about Furia is really just my own personal thoughts. I just got the book for free, so. But yeah, I'm excited to read it. The next category is called Hertiage. It is a book written by an author from a non-Spanish speaking Latinx country or like culture. So for this one, I wanted to actually learn more about Guyana. Guyana is in South America. I believe it's near Colombia. And what I found was interesting was that this is, besides like Brazil, it's one of the other countries that doesn't speak Spanish, and they were actually an English colony as well, like an English territory. So the native language there is English. And so I wanted to read this book. It's called Coolie Women, The Odyssey of the Indentured, and it is about the author. She is researching her great-grandmother, who initially came from India and was pregnant and voyaged over to Guyana to be like an indentured servant because slavery was abolished. And so it's all about this, like undiscovering the coolie, which was what they called indentured servants. So it's discovering like her grandmother's story as well as the coolie women who have been erased from history story. So that for me sounds so interesting. I've never heard of coolie women. I don't really know much about Guyana culture. Excited to see what it looked like, learn a little bit more history, learn about these coolie women. It sounds so interesting and just a part of history that I don't know, and I love history, so I'm excited. So thank you so much. Those are all the books that I'm hoping to read this month. I haven't read any of them, so I hope these descriptions are interesting enough. It's kind of the things that brought me in and made me want to read the books. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you like these books, get some ideas. If you are planning on doing the Latinx-athon, let me know. What books are you wanting to read? I love just gathering more Latinx books that I can read. And so let me know. Until then, catch me on Instagram. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and bye guys.